and just kind of walked over here. So.
Manual. We're running it acoustic.
Right. All right. Well, I'm here with Jymmy Tolland of the Lonely Ones. They're playing here tonight at the Newport Music Hall. Just come in for a quick interview. So, how's it going, man?
It's going well, man. Been excited for this show for a long time. Got a couple surprises in store. Been great, though. Busy.
So let's go back to 2019. You know, Sean leaves Bogaflex. You guys changed your name to the Lonely Ones. And then, you know, you got Eternal Sadness out and whatnot, but then COVID hit. How bad did that affect you guys as far as with your progression with the Lonely Ones?
Really bad. Yeah, we had 8 songs done at that point. We had a whole plan. We had shows booked, including some of the shows we're doing on this tour. And you know, they just kept it just immediately boom, gone. You know, we had to abort all these plans we had, stop a bunch of release stuff we had going, reschedule a bunch of shows, and then we were just kind of floating in open water for a year and change before really anybody had any idea what was going on.
Right.
It wasn't until probably February that people started to feel like there was a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay. So that's the Eternal Sadness. That's based on suicide, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. And I mean, that's a pretty touchy subject. The video was really good. I like at the end how you guys put it in the help hotline and everything. As far as what I read on Facebook, Getting High was how can I put this? Like an accidental ingestion of a hallucinogen.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess it's out, right? So, yeah, Jake took some magic mushrooms when we were recording. We were at a long recording session. We were doing about 2 weeks, just locked in the studio, and just it was fine. It was no big deal, nothing awful, but that was what came out of that.
Okay.
Was that song.
So I mean, do you guys what's after tonight? I mean, where are you headed from here?
Tomorrow we are in, we're in Pipestone, West Virginia, at a festival called Metal in the Mountains, with all the boys that are on the show tonight, Sunflower Day, Co-op, amongst many others. After that, so we'll be in Louisville on Tuesday. Man, this whole run is pretty much like Midwest stuff, from like South Dakota to West Virginia. Then after that, we head south to Florida. That'll be in October. And then after that, we have a bunch of other shows coming up along the Northeast and all that. We'll be all over the place between now and the end of the year.
Okay. So how was the transition from Bogaflex to the Lonely Ones? I mean, was it kind of weird playing without Sean, or I mean, did you guys just kind of jump right into it?
Both. We did jump right into it, and it was like, we knew what we were doing pretty quick, because we all knew each other.
Right.
We're all like this already. But yeah, it's definitely there's a lot of little things that you don't think about when you have somebody that's no longer in a group, especially when you go from 5 to 4 like that. It just, you kind of have to reevaluate where you're weighting the set. Who's going to move here? Not that we're that choreographed, but you kind of get a little second nature thing. Maybe for this I can go here, because you don't have a frontman. Marty is now the lead singer and the rhythm guitar player, who's on mic all the time.
Right.
So you kind of start to look at your show through a different lens when you go through a transition like that.
So when I talked to Marty and Sean back at the Muddy Creek Saloon, they said that they were pretty much done with record labels.
Yeah.
And then I just seen that you guys signed with, is it Imagine? Okay. And I read that they put a pretty good deal on the table. So I mean, are you guys doing good with being on the record label, or do you kind of miss doing the whole BFX thing?
No, I miss the independent was perfect for Bogaflex, not necessarily so for Lonely Ones.
Okay.
Bogaflex had gone through enough at that point and gotten to a certain level of establishment, a certain level of experience that independence was more than likely the smart move. For a new band, that's not the case.
Right.
So it's not like some personal vendetta against the concept of a label.
Right.
It was just at that, that far into Bogaflex, we knew what the right move was. We knew where we were at. And now we don't know where we're at so much as the lone ones. So, there's a lot more potential failures, a lot more potential gains.
Right.
Which is kind of the give and take of a label. Is you're speeding up the process. You're kind of pouring some gasoline on the fire.
Yeah. So I mean, you're out from Tacoma, Washington, right? Did you play in any bands over there? Or?
Nothing besides garage bands. I really kind of became a full-time musician after I moved here. It was why I moved out to Columbus.
That's kind of funny though.
Yeah, I've had people ask why, and I knew there were a bunch of good rock bands out here, and also I didn't come from money. Okay, I didn't really have much, so I wasn't going to be able to do LA. I wasn't going to be able to do New York or Austin, Texas, anything like that. Nashville at the time, I couldn't have done that. And so, that it really it was pretty much just Columbus, Ohio was the place that I thought had a respectable music scene and I could afford to live there.
Yeah, they do. I mean, we have this club here is old. My brother actually.
Oldest continuous running rock club in America.
Yeah, my brother. He actually was born in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, really?
And he lives in Vancouver now. He actually seen AC/DC here back in 1970 something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's told me about that because he's like, "What? It used to be called the Agora," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's Newport now." But I mean, the music scene in Columbus is huge. I mean, not just Columbus. I mean, you got bands that are out of Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton. I mean, just it. You think about how you kind of think of like a farm state, with cow tipping and stuff, and you got all these great musicians that come out of here.
And Columbus, I don't think it gets, I don't want to say credit, because it sounds like it's a race or something, but I think a little known fact is that Columbus is the fourth biggest city east of Mississippi. New York City, Chicago, Philly, and then Columbus. And geographically, if you're in a touring band, Columbus is pretty much perfect location-wise, because within a 12-hour drive, I can be in every major city, in the eastern half of the U.S., short of Texas and any of the cities in Florida.
Right.
I can be, in a 6-hour drive, I can be at so many major Detroit, Chicago, Indy, Pittsburgh, Louisville, Nashville. You know what I mean? The list goes on. And that's not an advantage in a lot of places have. They're not built so centrally.
Right.
So touring-wise, it really is kind of a dream come true, logistically.
Yeah. Do you guys do a lot of West Coast shows? I mean,
the West Coast is tough because you kind of get shut out of a lot of it for about 4 or 5 months a year due to weather.
Yeah.
Crossing the Rocky Mountains and the Cascades in Washington. It's not something I want to do.
Yeah.
In the winter, it's not so bad in October or May or whatever, but I've gone through there in the dead of winter before, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, my regular job is a truck driver, and I'm local now, but I used to run over the road, and I remember the first time I ever had to chain up was coming through Oregon and stuff, and it just it's horrible.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. I mean, I know that down south is a better time, better areas to play
out for the winter to do
right.
that.
What about festivals? You guys got any interest in that?
Oh, 100%. That's one of the best things you can do for your career is festivals. The part of the trouble we had that tied in with just the timing of creating a new band and the timing of COVID was that all these festivals that are happening in 2021 are carryovers of lineups from 2020.
Right.
And we were not, the 2020 festivals get booked fall of 2019. So we didn't exist yet. We didn't have a booking agent. We were just a thought in the air at that point. We didn't have really any music, nothing. So all those festivals got booked. So you're really going to go see a bill that's almost 2 years old at this point. So we will definitely be on festivals come 2022.
Nice.
Because those will be getting booked, now.
Right. So with I kind of get a little stuttered here, it's just nerves. But no, with the festivals, I mean, incarceration. You get actually a band that I had been talking to their guitar player, Adamira. They're out of Columbus, and they want to battle the bands to play there. Of course, that's another piece of history on the Alrosa. But it just, I think that the festivals are going to be more. That they keep growing more and more. You know, I mean, there's more states, more cities having them. Like they've got that one, the Blue Ridge Mountains now.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it is. It's. I've been to Rock on the Range a few times, and it was just a. I don't even know how to put it. It was just such a great experience.
Oh, it's a blast. I get to go every other year.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember meeting Jacoby there. He was out walking around talking to the fans.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you don't see that too often, especially with big bands like Papa Roach. But I mean, for me, and this is this is why I like doing bands that are not incredibly huge, because they still have respect for their fans.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not a major media outlet. You know, I love music probably more than anything besides my wife and kids and family. You know what I'm saying? But I've never been able to play it. I've never had the patience to play it. So with doing this, and I've got a blog and whatever. I just heard a review for a band called Tequila Monster. They just released a new single on Friday. It kind of gets me into the scene, and it's so I appreciate the fact that people will give me the opportunity to sit down and talk with them. And my honest opinion is actually here at this club, we seen, Lynch Mob.
Yeah.
And Mick Brown was walking down High Street, and my buddy that I was with played drums, and he says, "Hey man, can I get your autograph?" He said, "I don't have time for you." So to me, that's kind of a dick move, especially if you're going to be, your paycheck depends on your fans.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like the fact that you guys are so personable. I mean, I've got Marty as a friend on Facebook. I'll chat with him every once in a while. I mean, it's cool that you guys are so fan friendly.
Yeah. I just never gain anything by not having a good time, having a conversation with somebody.
Right.
I'd like to say that some deep-seated, heartfelt thing. But I like talking to people, and generally I like people. I get along with people pretty well.
Yeah. So, Jake was just in here. We talked about him being sponsored by Ibanez. You backed up by anybody for your bass, or?
No. I'm the only guy in the band that does not have a guitar full endorsement. I've got kind of I've got a friendship with Fender. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
But it's not an endorsement per se. Although that'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. I've got a deal with Tech 21 who makes bass preamps. But outside that, no, I don't have any major gear endorsements.
So how does that work? How does that happen?
How do you get an endorsement?
Yeah.
You could just reach out. A lot of times it helps you. We have a press agent. She handles that. Shauna.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, I talked to her to get this. So.
Yeah. So she handles a lot of that for us. And it's kind of just a little two-prong attack where she opens the door and throws it over to us. And if somebody's interested, people get into endorsing artists because they want to hang out with musicians, that kind of thing. So eventually, I want to talk to those people because they didn't get into artist relations to talk to a press agent. But a lot of times, having somebody's name with a label and a media company behind them will maybe get a foot in the door. Just because they don't know me from Adam until I show them who I am. So I'm just an email. They go next. But
I feel the same way when I look for interviews.
Yeah, it's having a name next to your name can open some doors for sure. And it's not my name; it's my press agent Shauna's name, and she does a great job. But then there's also that she got this company name next to her.
Gotcha. Now, do you guys? I know you guys got a big following. You just started playing again, right?
Yeah, this is our 8th show.
Okay, so are you doing any old Bogaflex songs, or is it just all lonely ones?
This is all lonely ones. We wanted to really kind of hardline the difference between the two, because it's two separate bands.
Right.
And there's been confusion about that, and I totally understand. I don't begrudge anybody because I was confused for a little bit about what was going on. It was confusing times. But yeah, so if it's the Lonely Ones, it's all Lonely Ones songs.
Gotcha.
Plus I covered it. I assume people are going to guess what that one is.
Flash. That was great.
Oh, thank you, man.
I really enjoyed it because I grew up watching that movie, Flash Gordon.
Oh yeah,
and
I love it.
And you guys even got a compliment from Brian May.
We did. Yeah, man, that was really, really cool. That was another thing that Shauna, our publicist, nailed to the wall for us. She just kept plugging away. I told her early on, I would love if Brian had heard of this. And she sent it out to a couple people, and it took like months for it to disseminate and go through this channel. And then somebody went, oh yeah, I forgot, somebody said that. We sent it over to Brian. Yeah. And then like out of the blue, a couple months later, Brian May just sent Shauna an email with a quote saying, you can use this quote. I said this, use it however you want. And he called it magnificent, which is such a prim and proper Englishman way to talk about rock and roll music.
Right.
I don't think I've ever used the word magnificent in my life, but it was so perfect. One of the things I gotta go to Kinko's and get a couple things printed out, and I'm gonna get just that text printed out black on a white sheet, and get that put on my wall, and get it framed and everything.
I mean, that would have to be a very proud moment. I mean, he's like royalty of music,
And then, you're a fan of Flash Gordon, Sam Jones, who's the lead actor, was Flash Gordon. He ended up getting a hold of it too, and reached out and loved it. And we got to meet him and hang out with him probably, 4 months ago or something like that. He was doing a signing out here, and just got us in and we hung out forever. He gave us a bunch of cool stuff, signed all sorts of stuff. So I've got a hand-signed, personalized poster that he made out just to us.
Nice. Yeah, I seen that on Facebook. Like I said, I follow the bands, and I follow individually. I follow you. Jake was a tough one to get a hold of, but I finally did. Tommy, I don't think I've gotten a hold of yet.
He barely gets on Facebook.
Yeah.
He's our resident recluse.
Well, I mean, you either love it or you hate it. I mean, I know people that have had Facebook and they're like, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I mean, for me, it's a good way for me to get myself out there. Because I mean, my website is called rockmusicandmore.com. So it's not like people are like, okay, let me try rock music and more. It's something that I have to kind of get out there through social media. And I mean, it is a good outlet for that. I see a lot of stuff on it that I don't agree with, but I keep my mouth shut, because I'm not going to sit there and argue with somebody about their opinion. But yeah, I mean, I followed you guys back in the day when Bogaflex was on social media, and then the Lonely Ones. I mean, I to be honest with you, I mean, I did like a lot of Bogaflex's music, but I'm more partial to the Lonely Ones.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I think you guys, I wouldn't say so much changed up your style, but you changed up something. You know what I mean? There's definitely, you can tell if you listen to something like, Getting High and Burying My Guns On. There's a difference.
Yeah. It's, I think just different environments and different dynamics are going to create that sort of thing.
Right.
Like you said, I couldn't really even point what the difference is, but I agree with you. It does seem different. Maybe because we've been experimenting a little more, and then kind of looking at the trends, like, oh, people seem to like this experimental thing we did, or they really didn't like that. So let's not go to that well much.
Right.
So yeah, maybe it's that we're not so confident in what we've already learned how to do.
Yeah. So it just, I think honestly for me, I think the difference is it's kind of in the writing.
Yeah.
I mean, I really never noticed a Bogaflex song that was, based on something like suicide. And the first song you guys come out with, Eternal Sadness, is based on that.
Yeah.
So it feels like, I mean, style-wise, there's a little bit difference, but I also feel like
What's up, buddy?
and there's creeping in Jake.
I'm in the shop.
You're in the shop.
You are in the
Might as well
shop.
just say hi to everybody.
Hello, internet.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, the lyrics to me is, I think, one of the most important parts of the song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you got your good songs where the lyrics really don't mean nothing, but then most of your great songs have good meaning behind it.
Well, as far as like growth from one band to the other, you gotta also keep in mind what went into the creating of the Lonely Ones in the early times of the Lonely Ones, and it was a major shakeup in the stability of our lives. It was Bogaflex breaking up, whether it was intentional or not. It was a choice we made,
Right.
But still, nonetheless, we chose to do that. And all of a sudden, it's like you're pulling the rug out from under yourself. So you're not comfortable when things like that happen,
Right.
And then getting into the later songs we released after those first couple. Now you're listening to stuff that we wrote, watching COVID steal everything back.
Yeah.
So, you've got a lot of that confusion, desperation, et cetera, et cetera. And so like it's not an intentional thing that we keep writing these bummer ass songs.
No, I mean,
It's just a reflection of where we're at.
I mean, really, if you listen to Eternal Sadness, I don't think you really kind of grasp it until towards the end.
Yeah.
And then you see that, the suicide hotline there.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't even know that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well,
It's like that upbeat, almost like My Generation-esque Who kind of thing, where it's it's got the claps on the snare, and it's a very dancey song.
Yeah, it is.
Which I thought was the cool dichotomy of it, was that, we've got this song, if you just had the melody but no words, you'd think, man, these guys are singing about a party or, dance with some girl or something.
Right.
And then only when you peel back the first layer and you listen, you go, oh shit, this shit's ugly.
Right. So who does your videos?
Everybody that we've done so far for the Lonely Ones has been with our good buddy Keith Williams
Okay.
of Island Road Media. Dear friend of ours, did a lot of Bogaflex videos as well. Solid he'll be here tonight. And yes, he does the shots, and then Marty and myself and him just hang out and smoke a ton of pot and edit for 2-3 days straight.
It's a good way to edit.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I lose focus. Sometimes I gotta take a break.
Right.
But yeah, that's a process that we enjoy a lot.
Where did you shoot the video for Eternal Sadness?
Eternal Sadness, there's 2 locations. The ones where we're playing our instruments, that was shot in, the people who do Carnage House. Are you familiar with Carnage House?
It sounds familiar.
They, I think they were moving Carnage House or something like that, and before it got reset up, they allowed us to shoot it in this empty warehouse thing.
Oh, okay.
So the shots where there's a single light coming down over the 4 of us who were playing our instruments was there. All the other shots, the dance scene, the bathtub scene, the bed scenes, all that stuff was shot, you know who Laura Dark is?
Yeah.
Photographer, right? Phenomenal photographer.
Yeah, she is.
That was shot at her studio. So all those, she's great at setting up different sets, location type stuff. So all that was just shot in her studio.
Yeah, she is phenomenal. I have her and Robin both on Facebook, and I mean I love the shots that she does with the wolves in the cemetery.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, she's really good. So shout out to Laura Dark, everyone. Just to kind of wrap things up, are you pretty? I mean, we just spoke with Jake a minute ago. He said this is his first time playing here, but I mean, how do you feel about playing in Newport? You like playing it better than other places, or?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places to play. It's just, there's a lot going on here. You know what I mean? There's times that I love just a rectangular box with a stage and a PA in it. There's not anything against that, but sometimes I walk into a place like this where it's calories and everything's whining all over it. For anybody who's not been here, the the back wall behind the stage, it looks almost kind of church-esque and all that.
Right.
It's just a strange, eclectic place. I get excited about stuff like that. I'm not nervous. I don't really get nervous, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that nervous thing. I mean, it's more of like, I come prepared with like questions in my head, and then I'm like, go blank.
Yeah.
You know, and my wife has suggested, use cards, but I just kind of feel like, I wanted it to come from, my heart. I want it to come from my mind. Like, hey, this is how I feel, and this is what I was wondering about you guys. So, I mean, in the Newport here, this place has got a lot of history. I mean, like I said, AC/DC played here. I mean, I've seen Testament, Skid Row, all kinds of people here. I mean, it's one of my actual first places I've seen a concert. So, I mean, this to me is exciting. Because I have never been beyond that stage.
I'm really, really excited about this. It's such a cool place. I got a piece of advice too. If you're trying to like remember what you want to do, but you don't want cards. Something I've done, like if I'm shooting a video, like a monologue video for the band or whatever, and I want it to be off the cuff feeling, but I've got this bullet point, this bullet point, this bullet point that I got to hit. A lot of times I'll write down little notes or whatever, and just do alone to myself. I'll practice my line just one time, like just, all right, here's how I'm gonna ask this question.
Right.
And then you lock in, you go, oh, that sounded cool. And then for me, once I say it out loud, it's pretty well locked in. I'm not going to lose it. It might be something that, helps you out.
Yeah.
You're just driving there, just run through a couple of questions, how you ask it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, today's been kind of crazy, so I just was like, oh my God, I gotta get there. And then on the way up here, I'm, just fumbling through stuff.
And I'm answering the phone and
It was just by coincidence that I caught you guys in the alley because I was trying to find a close place to park. So what is, I don't think anybody's really going to be hearing this right now downstairs or anything. So what's the set list like tonight?
Well, I'll put it to you this way first. It's every song we have ready to play live.
Okay.
So yeah, we've got like maybe 5 or 6 more songs that we've got written and recorded, but we don't have them rehearsed yet. It's going to open up fast. We're doing something real cool that I'm not going to spoil yet for anybody who's sitting on Facebook Live, right?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you guys. But it involves a song that we've not released yet that I think is going to be like, I think it's going to make a real impression on people. We're doing something special tonight that we've never done before, that we haven't done at any other shows we've done at it. And then we got a couple little teasers throughout the set, like leading to other songs that we haven't played yet. There's parts that we've stolen from those, like intros and outros and whatnot. We cut out a Pink Floyd song, that's our intro to the entire set. It's chopped and screwed, this old song called One of These Days. I'm not sure if you know that one.
Yeah.
We chopped and screwed that all up, and so that's how we start the set, is that. So I'm pretty excited about that. I like the flow of the whole set right now.
Okay. Well, just a couple more questions. So after you guys get done touring, is there plans for a new record?
Right now we're going to be releasing music, but I don't think a record is in the cards for us right now as far as a full release. I think that we're too new. I think we're too unestablished. We've got a lot of things going for us right now, but I don't feel like it's locked in. I don't feel like we've gotten to a point where we've got a forever established fan base yet. So I'm really trying to make impressions on a day-by-day, month-by-month basis. And I think putting out a record, then it's like, where do you go from there? You put out your record, it hit, whatever. Now what are you gonna do? You're a new band. We're in the mind space of new song every couple months, whatever, however that goes. Because then you're just, people have a short attention span.
Yeah.
You're always putting something in front of them now.
Right.
At least do that for another year or something. Don't even hold me to a year, but it's some amount of time. It's going to be a while. We're going to keep that plan.
So what's the contingency plan if COVID screws things up again?
I don't know. Fucking just live off the fucking income of the 2 bands I've been in again. just take those straight to the bank account and keep it tight and eat top ramen until shit blows over. I don't know, man. I mean, it's a possibility that it seems like things are on the fence. I don't know about things closing back down again. 2 months ago it seemed like it was a sure thing we were gonna clear, but at this point, I gotta keep it in my head that it could be tomorrow the state shuts down,
Right.
or the city shuts down, or the venues go, I can't take on this risk. We're canceling the show.
Yeah, I seen that announcement from Danny Wimmer, and I mean, there was a lot of people that was, putting down and saying this is bullshit and whatever. And I think with that announcement, he's right. I mean, it's not too much to ask to either have a vaccination or get a COVID test. I mean, especially with the festivals, months in advance that you're going.
And think about it from this perspective. Obviously, vaccines are like the hot topic right now. So everybody's gonna view those as a separate thing that is new and it's novel and nobody's dealt with anything like this.
Mhm.
But when you abstract that out and just look at like concert policies, bar policies, et cetera, you wouldn't be able to walk in this place without a shirt on. You wouldn't be able to walk out. You wouldn't be able to walk here with a pistol on your hip.
Right.
You can't do that. Sells more than 51% alcohol.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can't do for whether it is the general safety or the comfort of the people that are there, whether it's an actual health hazard or just a environmental comfort thing. I'm sure that it's a mixture of the two, because one, it's going to keep people safer at the shows, and two, the people that are already vaccinated, which I think we're at like 52-53%, something like that, in the United States. That's becoming the majority more and more, and it's capitalism 101.
Right.
You go where you follow what your main buying market wants, and if as that number grows, I think you're going to see more companies emboldened to push those policies to keep that. And like I said, I'm in favor of it. I don't know if I'm dialing across in favor of the policy, but that's business.
Yeah, and I mean the thing that I really they kind of, I would say, spoke to me was that he's all about keeping the fans safe. He's about, you guys make your living off of playing shows. Records don't sell anymore. You don't do CDs and stuff. So he's like, for the safety of the fans, for the safety of the bands, for the bands, this is their income. To keep the venues open and stuff. And I mean, I agree wholeheartedly, because I think I've always just felt like music is a universal language.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people feel so many different ways when they hear a song or whatever. And I think it's just more of, like he said, it's music could bring everybody together to heal from all this stuff.
Exactly. And you kind of hit the nail on the head there with I think another thing that people don't look at it from this perspective is, we're entertainers. I want the party now. I want people to be having a good time. And I know that, certain things maybe will have less of a good time, and I don't want that to be the case.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we got the four of us in the band. We have a couple full-time employees that are out on the road with us, and several that are, indirectly making money off of what we do on a day-to-day basis. And if one of us comes up positive, the whole tour shot. Right. That's been fun. Speaking of one of our full-time employees, lovely Fawn Sands.
She actually stayed at our house for a week.
Yep.
In between her apartments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was homeless.
Yeah.
She was.
So we got an apartment together because I was running out of my place to live at the same time. It worked out well.
Yes, it was pretty much right from that.
I'll tell you what, she was like the perfect house guest. You hardly ever knew she was.
Oh, I'm living with what? Almost 2 years now. I'll see you like once a week.
If that, sometimes.
I'll see you like 2 hours a week or an hour a week. Gosh.
All sounds like, oh, hey, you can live here still. 7.
7.
Yep.
All right, brother. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I Appreciate you talking with me. Just looking forward to, obviously, I mean, I'm going to have to go get me a quick COVID test so that I can enjoy the show, but, you know, I'll get it done and get back here, shoot some pictures, whatever, and ready to jam, man. I love your guys' music.
My man.
So, all right, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.